Today, we are ranking every single team of the season player in the Premier League, both men and women. Shall we get started? If you're new to these parts, we have broken rank 1 foot champs debatable in the pine. And I expect to stir up those comments. Allison in goal. I don't think I can give a goalkeeper past foot champs at this current state. At this moment, that's where I feel most comfortable. Full disclaimer, most of these players are going to be at least weekend league certified. Garnacho, the dribbling is phenomenal, on point, responsive, quick feet. I don't know if Alejandro is getting straight selection, first ballot into rank 1. We'll put him into foot champs for now. Julian Alvarez has been putting in work over the course of the weekend. Definitely trusted. Weekend league approved, no denying, no doubting, certifiable classic with that type of movement. We just have options. Bowen, I think this guy will actually surprise you. Just got the right mix up of play styles to allow him to actually receive some juice, a little extra boost. He's got a plus in technical, whipped pass, and Trivela. Offensively, that's a big 3. If you're putting together an assortment, I don't know that Bowen should be next to Alvarez or Garnacho, but he's overachieving, and I don't want to take that away from him. I don't want to grab that off the plate, off the table. Bruno Fernandes, high rated, not cheap, though for the record, when I make these videos, it's never based around value, unless stated differently. Rank 1 Bruno is where we begin. Charles might be a little slept on. I don't love that she's a left back that's right-footed. I know she has a 5-star weak foot, but there's certain animations that just come out more natural or a hashtag organic if you're playing through someone's dominant foot. That's the reality. But I'd still see her in the weekend. Kevin De Bruyne, best passer potentially in the game. I love that dynamic image. And I tried to mix in Team of the Season Live. That was in the Premier League, the classic releases, and then also the Team of the Season moments. As long as they're in the right league, they have been included in this video. Diaz, woo! That man is fast, explosive, dangerous, electric, terrifying, at the utmost quality. I still put him in rank 1 for now. And I don't know if this is an early hot take, but Doku, in my opinion, is even faster than Diaz. Even more boosted, assertive, and I guess potentially can keep growing, getting better, improving, stat lines uplifting. He's got one of those live items, and I'm sure Manchester City is going to hit all the requirements. Douglas Luiz, I don't know if he gives you enough. I got him. It's an objective. He's free. I love the price point. Debatable at best. He's not really built with a certain size or presence, and even from a statistical breakdown or assortment or allotment, there's nothing that's bad. Everything is well above average, but I don't know that he's going to move the needle for you. And unless you're starting a brand spanking new RTG account, you probably have better midfielders. I don't know with the Ecuadorian. On paper, it looks okay. There's some newspaper numbers there. I got some question marks. I'm not as sold that, again, he's going to actually influence our team or even your team. And I got to take that into consideration. And I'm comparing these players against each other. Phil Foden, been a little bit of a hater this year. He has had a couple upgrades that have now allowed him to get where he deserves, a little more towards that elitism. And in real life, I have nothing but positives and appreciation for Phil Foden. I think he's phenomenal, and he's going to be a major factor as to where England asserts themselves throughout international competitions, present day and going forward into the future. Gabby's not crazy. You can play him for the weekend. It works. It's not a problem. He's just not crazy. But I do think we have to give him at least foot champs. He's not going to be a liability. You're not going to have question marks. He's consistent, but a little underwhelming maybe for what I was hoping for in terms of team of the season releases and items. Greenwood, the stats are right. I mean, they're kicking. I want to lean towards her being in a debate, but it's only based on her being a 5'5" or 5'6" center back. Everything else is good. She even has quality play styles with anticipate and power header. Maybe that's being a little too harsh, and we'll lean her into foot champs. Holland, the big man on campus, and this is why we have to be particular with who we situate into broken, because the guys that are game changing undeniable, get you more wins, disrupt matchups, the best in their positions. We got to reserve this slot for those. I'm doing my job. Havertz just got an upgrade. I love him. Highly recommended. As this video is being recorded, his SBC is still available. I think it was just over 1 million coins. You will not regret it. And now you're receiving a little boosted stat line that we understood was on the horizon. Well, it's already gone official. You can play him in the midfield. You can play him out wide. A lot of good reviews on the Google or on the YouTube. Hemp, I love her. If you've been watching the channel this year, you know that I've always had a thing for Hemp. We have a rapport, we have a relationship. She scores goals, and this is easily her best option. Iconic with the way that she's able to put pressure on defenses, resilient in the best of ways, explosive. I only have superlatives for Hemp. Did not see James getting a 97. If you did, good for you. That's a massive, massive upgrade with a double 5-star. And we've had a little bit of a give and take relationship on the virtual pitch. I've used items of James that I really enjoyed, and then other items that I thought underdelivered. This is not going to be one of those at the new 97. We might have kept the pine just for Keating, who went from like a 50 or a 60 overall to a team of the season, but I think she's like 5'6" as a goalkeeper. I'm not doing that. I can't co-sign. Kelly, she's nice. And we got the introduction to Kelly proper with her previous item, whatever the light blue version of Chloe Kelly was. I don't know from a worldview perspective that everyone has Kelly in the rotationals. Maybe don't understand the pure value. Sam Kerr, and I've always been someone who really, truly supported Sam Kerr. For some reason, the 96 isn't an upturn, and I think it's because of the other players being upgraded. When she had her earlier items from the radioactive or the team of the year, because of the period of time, she stood out more. Still has one of the strongest, powerful shots that I've gone up against or that I've put into motion, especially if you're able to time those green or put in a power shot. It is ridiculous, but I'm downgrading her to foot champs. Kanate, what a center back. I'm upgrading him to rank 1, 6'4". He's going to be built for longevity. Just another massive man, so to speak, as a center back. Pushes everyone around, a bruiser, a dictator of what happens, when it happens. He's making his own rules. A most definite presence on the virtual pitch. Kudus, wow, he's fast. Kudus has kind of been overpowered, and he does make you nervous. He makes you uncomfortable. He could be in foot champs. I'm leaning towards rank 1. Alexandri, is it Lopez? I believe so. I'm leaning more on the debate. It's another undersized center back. At the end of the day, team of the season players really aren't meant to be below at least the weekend league. So I'll hear any of your cases, your arguments, your presentations around certain players. McAllister comes off really normal. I'm sorry, he does. If you want him in the debate, that's fine, but he's not going into your midfield. You could put him even into the pine. I don't believe that any of you will be using McAllister unless you're a Liverpool supporter, and at that point, you're just forcing it. Maino in the middies, another player that got one of those from bronze or silver to a team of the season moments. Debatable at best. I believe some of those stats are fraudulent. I'm going to stand on that. Standing on business. Melvin, I think she'll still get you into a weekend if you want a different look for a winger. Again, I would assume relatively affordable. We can do a price check. Not a bad return of investment. I also would not be upset if we had moved her into maybe more of a debate. And upon further review, I'm just going to go ahead and give her a notch down. No disrespect. McCabe is smooth. No problems with her. I don't know that she's going to replace what you already have. In theory, she's cheaper, but I'm always thinking about Bompastor. She's on my mind. We'll leave this here. We might not be done. Again, you got to pine him. The reality, he's not really next level or top tier in anything from pace to shooting, goal scoring, creation, and ingenuity to chase back to defensive presence to size or physicality. He's not changing the way that you play the game. And I don't want at this point of FC to have a player that's just on the pitch. I need difference makers. I need impact. And Kunku, great value. I'm going to go weekend league, but if you're looking for a player that typically would cost you a lot more, obviously having so many injuries, Chelsea underperforming, you name it. If it was a different year, I believe you'd be paying 3-4x the price tag to make this pickup with Nkunku. Odegaard, I just completed the SBC, used them throughout last weekend, would highly recommend. Enjoyed that a lot, from the passing to the dribbling, responsiveness, even the finesse shot. I was scoring goals with Odegaard, quick movements. He has some unique turning and extra touches, and the passing is beyond precise. Cole Palmer. Does Cole Palmer get into broken? He's similar to Havertz in some different ways if you want to do a compare and contrast. I've got more comfort with Havertz. I'm also using Havertz more as a midfielder. Cole Palmer, I would push into more of an attacking role, whether it's a false 9, it's a winger. You could play him as a number 10. We might have a case. We might have a case on our hands. Ramirez, I completed this SBC. I don't think she's going to get you out of the debate. Powerful, if anything, more of a super sub. Again, unless you just started a brand new account, I struggle to believe that she would take minutes off one of your other strikers. Declan Hullet, Rude Hullet, at least rank 1. Not going to be an offensive juggernaut. I would like to be clear with that. But breaking up the plays, positioning, timing, that gladiator approach in the midfield, he does that with the best of them. Robertson, the American. I don't think I have a bias. I would go weekend league. Give him a chance. Rodri, at least rank 1. I've got to make a decision here potentially between Rodri and Declan Rice as to who we'd want to potentially go into broken. If it's one of them, if it's the duo. They have some similarities. Might be a preference choice. Romero for foot champs. As we're recording, he's kind of overpriced. People are looking for the upgrade, the improvement. Romero's never been one of my favorite players. Russo going to end up blending. I'll give her the debate for now. Saka almost has too many stats to not be at least rank 1. The stats be statting. And he just keeps getting upgrades. Good for Saka. Salah. Oh my goodness. See, this is what I'm talking about. Straight to broken. To the top. Adding finesse shot and technical and just what we know about Salah. Woo, forget about it. Saliba. Yes, sir. Fantastic center back. Deserved team of the season. Shaw will surprise you. Maybe she should be better than foot champs, but that's where I'm leaning to get things started. Suboslai, packed him, as did many of you. I'd feel comfortable with him for the weekend, but due to his body type, he's not going to be highly agile. He does move fast with the technical dribbling, especially if you're just pushing it a little more direct or you're moving the ball forward. But in some of the turning circumstances and sequences, I'd like it to be on the record that he is not going to feel as agile as you might be anticipating if you're reading through the stats. Turland, I don't, there's no spot for her. What are we doing here? It's a good price, but if anything, I could probably put her into the pine. Again, a player I packed. She's not getting minutes anywhere. You're going to have better subs, but I'm looking at some of my options here and maybe everyone almost gets a debate other than Keating. Keating's getting the raw end of that. Sonaldo, rank 1 for sure. Virgil van Dijk, also a sure thing when it comes to broken all year long. If anything, I'll reorder the broken category at the end. Ollie Watkins, I believe he should be a sure thing for the weekend. He might surprise you. I know statistically and even previous concept items, he maybe didn't stand out for you in terms of virtual pitch. I think he'll surprise you. I'll just leave that here. Ben White, as a fullback, for sure the debate. Maybe as a center back, because his physicality's solid. You could put him into the weekend. I'll hear open arguments for either position. I think I'm going to lean into having him in the debate for now. She's feeling like a fraudulent team of the season. That happens sometimes. Maybe at a different point of the year, we'd have a different placement here, but as it stands, kind of an undersized holding mid. Maybe you could line up to a box-to-box. I think she's like 5'3", 5'4". She looks like a pro clubs player. That being said, let's get into a review. I hope that we did not miss any players. It ended up being a bigger list than I initially expected when you got into the live team of the season with both women's and men's, and even having the team of the season moments in regards to Premier League fixtures, Premier League selections. The Pine, I don't think these folks are moving up. It's more of a question to somebody join them. McAllister's super average. That's how I feel. Amongst all these upgrades, he's not really moving the needle. He's got a lot of similarities to McGinn. Even Mano, I'm feeling the same way. He's not going to take minutes off of any of the players that you have. I refuse to believe that that's possible. And there's so much room for misalignment and misinterpretation. When you have an upgrade from a bronze player to a team of the season or a promo player, my belief off rip is sometimes out the window, out the door. You got to earn it. You got to prove that you got that extra juice. That said, McCabe hasn't been bad. I've gone up against her quite a few times. I thought she was good enough. I'm going to give her the movement up to the weekend. We could probably make a case for White. I would lean, again, some sort of attacking position for center backs, maybe a third center back if we're running a 3 at the back. The problem is 3 at the backs got banned, so we're not necessarily seeing a lot of that structure. I'm still going to give him just a nod, but my disclaimer stays that I'd rather have him as a center back than a fullback. because he's maybe 6 foot, 6'1". He's properly sized to be in that type of role. And then the physicality was a big upgrade out of chemistry style. You're good to go. Now it's going to get nifty. Foot champs. Initially, I don't have people really going down, but it's a matter of who goes up. Allison's a strange one with a goalkeeper. If you want him in rank 1 or even broken, so be it. But goalkeepers in field positions or outfield positions, not always an easy 1-to-1. Some of you will argue for Shaw, Garnacho, Alvarez has been good money. I'm telling you, Bowen, I believe, will surprise you. He's one of those players that is typically not great. Let's call a spade, but EA's done better with this version, this item, comparatively to previous items. He might be on the bottom end of the foot champs, but he's good enough. If anything, I could probably add an additional category up top. I don't think I would move a bunch of foot champs. Shaw might be making the biggest case. I'm telling you, she'll give you certain levels that you're not used to seeing. Extra broken. It allows us to give a little more separation. Virgil van Dijk has to go there. Haaland has to go there. I think James has to go there. And Salah, for me, has to be there as well. But it allows us now to move up some of the players from rank 1. I would take Saliba into broken. I would take Rodri and Declan Rice just for what they're giving you. Cole Palmer's coming up. Man, the stats on some of these players just for craziness. I think I'm going to leave Odegaard. I'll leave Kudus, Konate. Diaz probably comes up to another slot. Am I tripping if I leave Saka? Sort of still. That's where my headspace is at. Son's been causing a lot of problems. Run him up front. I'm cool if Foden stays. I mean, rank 1 is not a slouch position. I just wanted to have one more degree of separation. It allows us also to pull up players that probably deserve to at least fit into broken. Bruno's sort of been a surprise. I'm telling you, his wiggling and working in the middies is nice. I'm okay if Foden sits tight, even Hemp, Kelly, as much as I like them. Pulling up both Kevin De Bruyne and Bruno Fernandes. And this might be a crazy take, but I'm actually going to give extra broken to Havertz because I believe he's that good. I hope that you agree. The versatility is another reason that I have to have him on my list. Made such a difference over the course of the weekend or division rivals. Just does a little bit of everything. I'd like to believe that a lot of you will agree, but I'm definitely going to have some kickback with some of these choices. As for extra broken, if we're doing priority, that's the order as well. Virgil van Dijk, Haaland, James, Salah, and Kai Havertz. There's your 5. Take with it as you will. Do you agree? Do you disagree? The choice is yours. But as always, we're going to have a lot more content coming out ASAP. I appreciate all of you. Turn on them notifications. And if you want the gameplay, we've been live streaming on Twitch. 'Tis the season.